World changers. Have you ever honestly given thought about the people who have changed our world? If you have, you probably think of the ones who have made major changes like Abraham Lincoln or Martin Luther King. But have you ever asked yourself how you might change the world? There's a story that goes something like this. There was a row of beach houses along the ocean front, and early every morning the same man would be seen walking along dressed in his shorts and windbreaker. He also wore a pair of gloves, and as he strolled along, he would bend over and pick up a jellyfish that had come in with the tide, and he'd throw it back into the ocean. His mission was endless, because the beach was just covered with them. An onlooker came out to the beach to meet him. As he approached, he commented, "You've sure got your work cut out for you there, but there's not really much purpose in it, though. The beach will be just as full tomorrow, and look at how many you still have left to go. Come on now. Do you really think you can make a difference?" The old gentleman looked at him, then bent over to pick up another jellyfish. And as he tossed it back in amongst the waves, he responded, "Well, it made a difference to that one." It made a difference to that one is the key to changing our world. You might think to change the world you have to do something big, but who says so? If you can make a difference in one person's life one day at a time, whenever the opportunity presents itself, then you're helping to change the world. I strongly suggest that you keep your eyes opened and opportunities will come. Try to do it everywhere and to everyone, deserving or not. Now, I'm not saying to neglect your family or responsibilities. I'm saying if a little voice says, "It would be nice if," or you could be a definite encouragement there. That's the chance to make a difference. If you don't have the chance to mingle with people outside of Christian circles, then remember that your church building is a hospital, and there are just as many jellyfish there as in the ocean. Jesus had 12 disciples, and they were quite a mixture of characters. He would never ask us to take on 12. That would be like stepping into the movie Mission Impossible. Pray and be prepared to change the world one person at a time. Think about it for just a moment. If the one you help pays it forward, then you have had a part in that too. You can make a difference. Age is no barrier. In fact, it's an asset. Do it with no strings attached. Do it just because you can. Back in the 50s, there was a well-known radio host, comedian, and songwriter in Hollywood named Stuart Hamblin, who was noted for his drinking and womanizing. One of his bigger hits at the time was, "I won't go hunting with you, Jake, but I'll go chasing women." One day, along came a young preacher holding a tent revival. Hamblin had him on his radio show, presumably to poke fun at him. In order to gather more material for his show, Hamblin showed up at one of the revival meetings. Early in the service, the preacher announced that there is a man in this audience who is a big fake. Now, there was probably others who thought the same thing, but Hamblin was convinced that he was the one the preacher was talking about. Some of us would call that conviction, but Hamblin was having nothing to do with that. Still, those words continued to haunt him. He showed up a couple of nights later, drunk, at the preacher's hotel room and demanded that he pray with him. But the preacher refused, saying, "This is between you and God, and I'm not going to get in the middle of it." He did invite Stuart in, and they talked until about 5 a.m. that morning. At that point, Stuart bowed his head, dropped to his knees, and cried out to God. One man had changed his world. But that's not the end of the story. Stuart quit drinking, quit chasing women. He quit everything that was fun. Soon he began to lose favor with the Hollywood crowd. He was fired by the radio station when he refused to accept a beer company as a sponsor. Hard times were upon him. He tried writing a couple of Christian songs, but the only one that had much success was "This Old House," written for his friend Rosemary Clooney. As he continued to struggle, a longtime friend named John took him aside and told him, "All your troubles started when you got religion. Was it all worth it?" Stuart simply answered yes. Then his friend asked, "You liked your booze so much. Don't you ever miss it?" And his answer was no. John then said, "I don't know how you could give it up so easily." And Stuart's response was, "It's no big secret. All things are possible with God." To this, John said, That's a catchy phrase. You should write a song about it. And, as they say, the rest is history. The song Carl Stewart Hamblin wrote was, "It is no secret. It is no secret what God can do. What He's done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll welcome you. It is no secret what God can do." By the way, the friend was John Wayne, and the young preacher who refused to pray for Stewart Hamlin, well, that was Billy Graham. And this is Lynda Lewis, reminding you, when changing your world, that some days you're going to feel like the pigeon, and other days you'll feel like the statue. But remember, winners make things happen. Losers let them happen.